You never think it's going to happen to you. You hear stories about betrayal, affairs, and secrets, but it's always someone else's life, not yours. That was me. My name is Andrew. I thought my marriage was unshakable and my wife, Lena, was my partner in everything. But what I didn't know was that everything I believed, everything I trusted, was about to fall apart. I've always been the guy you could count on. My friends and my colleagues, they'd call me reliable, maybe even a little predictable. I show up to work on time every day at a mid-sized corporate firm. I take care of my responsibilities, meet my deadlines, and head home to Lena, my wife of 8 years. To anyone looking in, my life was simple, steady, normal. Lena and I weren't the kind of couple who needed grand gestures or constant excitement. We had routines and they worked for us. Dinners at home, weekends watching movies, and quick chats about our day before bed. I'd go to work, she'd take care of her part-time job and meet her friends occasionally. Sure, there were moments when things felt quieter than they used to, but I thought that was just how life settled in over time. Comfortable. And then there was Mr. Donovan, my boss. If you've ever worked in an office, you probably know the type. Donovan was sharp, well-dressed, and effortlessly charming. He'd walk into a room and people couldn't help but notice. Women found him magnetic. Men wanted to be like him. But if you paid attention, you'd hear whispers, small office gossip about Donovan's way with women. The kind of charm that didn't always stop at harmless flirting. I never thought much of it. Donovan was married after all. Plus, what did it matter to me? I was just another employee trying to do my job and get ahead in my career. My focus was on my work and on being a good husband. Looking back now, I realize how blind I was. How easy it is to miss the cracks forming beneath your feet until you're already falling through them. It all started on what felt like a completely ordinary evening at work. I stayed late to finish up some reports, the kind of thing I'd done dozens of times before. The office was quiet with just a few people still hanging around. I decided to grab a cup of coffee from the break room to keep myself going. As I walked down the hallway, I heard laughter coming from inside. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but the sound caught my attention. It was two of my younger colleagues, Sam and Jake. I didn't know them well, but they were the kind of guys who always seemed to be joking around. I paused outside the doorway, hearing snippets of their conversation. "Man, I can't believe Donovan would be that reckless," one of them said, still laughing. I leaned in a little, just curious enough to see what was so funny. Sam shook his head, smirking. I walked into his office the other day and he wasn't alone. The door wasn't even locked. I swear I saw him with some woman and it was, not business related. Jake burst out laughing. "The guy's married and he's having an affair at the office? Why not a hotel? Seriously, who does that?" I stood there for a moment, listening, and, honestly, I couldn't help but laugh along quietly. The whole thing sounded ridiculous. Mr. Donovan was our boss, the kind of man who always seemed like he had his life perfectly together. Sharp suits, perfect hair, the whole package. It was hard to imagine him doing something so sloppy and risky. I didn't think much of it after that. I grabbed my coffee, shook my head with a little smile, and went back to my desk. At the time, it was just office gossip. Stupid, harmless, like any other story that floats around in a workplace. I figured it was just one of those funny stories that would make the rounds for a couple of weeks before everyone forgot about it. What I didn't know then was that this small, random moment would come back to haunt me, because the woman they were joking about wasn't just some woman. It was my wife. It was a regular evening. Lena was in the kitchen, rinsing dishes, and I was sitting on the couch. I needed to check up on Lena's mother and my phone was charging upstairs. Lena's phone was sitting right there on the coffee table, so I grabbed it. I didn't think twice about it. After all, what's the harm in using your wife's phone to call her mom? I unlocked the phone and scrolled through her contacts. But as I searched, my eyes caught a name I wasn't expecting to see. Mr. Donovan? I froze, wondering why his number was there. Mr. Donovan. My boss. At first, I tried to brush it off. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's someone else with the same name. But the knot in my stomach told me I was lying to myself. Out of sheer instinct, I tapped on the contact. It was his number. I knew it because I had his number saved on my own phone. And then, below the contact, I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. A recent call history. Just yesterday, Lena had spoken to him. My mind raced. Why would she be calling him? What could they possibly need to talk about? I sat there staring at the screen, my mind completely blank. I could have stopped there. I could have put the phone down and let it go. But I didn't. Something was pulling me deeper. I swiped back to the home screen and opened her messages. That's when I saw them. The texts weren't many, but they were enough. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the messages. Had a great time the other day, smiling face with smiling eyes. Can't wait to see you again soon. I hope you took the morning after pill. Every word felt like a punch to my chest. I didn't know how long I sat there. Finally, I placed the phone back exactly where I found it, like nothing had happened. I didn't say a word to Lena about the texts. There was no need to confront her yet. I needed proof. Proof she couldn't deny. After discovering those messages on Lena's phone, I couldn't stop wondering how long this had been going on. How did my wife and my boss, two people who barely met, end up having an affair? I needed answers. That's when I remembered the Find My iPhone app. For those who don't know, it's a feature from Apple that lets you see the location of any device linked to your iCloud account. Lena and I had connected our phones long ago, and I could use it to see exactly where her phone was, anytime. I told myself this wasn't spying, just clarifying the truth. At first, I didn't find anything unusual. Lena's phone always showed her at the usual spots: her part-time job, the grocery store, or meeting her friends at the local cafe. She even stopped by the gym a few times. Every location seemed innocent, and for a while I started questioning myself. Maybe I'm overthinking this? Maybe those texts were just playful banter? But no matter how much I tried to convince myself, I couldn't forget those messages. The way they hinted at secret meetings, the subtle flirty tone. Something wasn't right. Then one afternoon at work, I checked her location out of habit. At first, I didn't think much of it. The map loaded and her phone's icon popped up. But when I looked closer, I froze. Her phone was showing up right here at my company's address. I thought maybe I was mistaken. Did she leave her phone in my car or accidentally take it with her to work one morning? But no, her phone wasn't with me. It was showing inside the building. I called her, hoping to clear things up. The phone rang and rang, but she didn't answer. My mind started racing. Why was her phone here? And then it hit me. My colleagues gossiped about Mr. Donovan, the woman in his office weeks ago. The details they described. Could it be? I checked her location again, but the icon had moved. Her phone was no longer at the office. She'd already left. That was when the doubt became unbearable. I couldn't sit with this alone. I needed confirmation. I found the colleague who had walked in on Donovan that day, the one who first spread the gossip. Pulling him aside, I asked if we could talk in private. At first he looked confused, even a little defensive. But my urgency must have shown because he eventually agreed. I started describing Lena carefully: dark brown hair, her height, the way she carries herself. He looked uncomfortable, then I took out my phone, opened a photo of Lena from a recent family gathering and showed it to him. My voice trembled as I asked, "Is this the woman you saw in Donovan's office?" He stared at the screen for a moment, then looked at me with an expression I'll never forget. "That's her," he said quietly. The confirmation felt like a punch to the gut. It was Lena. I thanked him, though I could barely get the words out. My chest felt heavy. I went back to my desk, but I couldn't focus. I couldn't breathe. I felt betrayed, humiliated, broken. All I could do was watch the clock and wait for the day to end, counting down the hours until I could go home and confront Lena. When I walked through the front door that evening, I felt like a storm was brewing inside me. The house was quiet except for the faint hum of the TV in the living room my wife was watching. Lena, my wife, greeted me with a warm smile, her eyes lighting up the way they always did. For a brief moment, I hesitated. Could I be wrong? Was there still a chance this wasn't what it seemed? But the heaviness in my chest wouldn't let me rest. "Lena," I said, my voice calm but firm, "we need to talk." She frowned slightly but followed me to the couch. I sat across from her, my hands clasped tightly, trying to steady myself. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. I took a deep breath. "I saw the messages," I began. Her confusion was immediate. "What messages?" "Between you and Mr. Donovan," I replied, my tone unyielding. "I know, Lena." For a moment, silence filled the room. Then, like a reflex, she burst into denial. "That's ridiculous," she exclaimed, shaking her head. "You're being paranoid. Don't you trust me?" Her words cut deep, but I wasn't about to let them sway me. I leaned forward, my eyes locked onto hers. "Unlock your phone," I said, my voice steady. She froze, clutching her phone like it was a lifeline. "Andrew, this is absurd," she protested. "You're invading my privacy." I didn't budge. "If there's nothing to hide, Lena, then show me." Her resistance was like a wall, but my persistence was stronger. She was reluctant. I dragged the phone from her hand, unlocked it, and opened the message. I already knew what I'd find. There they were, the same texts I'd seen earlier. Words that shattered the foundation of trust between us. Lena stared at the screen, her face pale. She didn't need to say anything. The truth was laid bare. Explain this, I said, my voice low but trembling. Her voice cracked as she went from denying everything to sobbing uncontrollably. Andrew, you don't understand, she cried. The words spilled out of her like water from a broken dam. She admitted to the affair, but every admission came wrapped in excuses. She said she felt invisible in our marriage, neglected and unloved. I was lonely, she sobbed, covering her face with her hands. I felt so alone, Andrew. I didn't know how to tell you. And then, it just happened. Her words struck me like daggers. I sat there, listening, torn between anger and heartbreak. I wanted to shout, to scream, to ask her how she could do this to me, to us. But all I could do was clench my fists and fight back the tears threatening to spill. Do you even understand what you've done? I finally said, my voice trembling. You betrayed me. You betrayed everything we built together. She looked at me, her eyes desperate, but I couldn't meet her gaze. The pain was too raw. Her excuses, her reasons, they didn't matter. She had crossed a line and there was no undoing it. That night, I couldn't bear to stay under the same roof as Lena. I grabbed my keys, barely registering her tearful pleas for me to stay, and drove aimlessly until I found myself pulling into the parking lot of a small, nondescript hotel. I checked in, dragging my overnight bag into the dimly lit room. I needed the space to process all these. My wife, my Lena, had been involved with my boss. The thought of it sent a surge of anger through me, but it was the sadness that lingered, creeping into every corner of my thoughts. I still loved her. As much as it infuriated me, the love didn't vanish just because she betrayed me. It twisted inside me, making everything hurt more. The next day at work wasn't any better. I avoided Mr. Donovan, but his arrogant demeanor was impossible to miss. The man who had wrecked my life strutted around as if nothing had happened, laughing with coworkers and barking orders like the king of the world. Every time I saw his smug face, I felt the anger boil just beneath my skin. My fists itched to wipe that smirk off his face, but I knew better than to lose control in the office. Still, the rage didn't go away. Days passed, each one dragging more than the last, and then Lena reached out. Her text popped up on my phone late one evening. Andrew, please. We need to talk. I'm so sorry. I ignored all her messages. She has been apologizing through text and voice recording, her words tumbling over each other as she admitted her mistakes. I'm so sorry for what I've done, Andrew. I take full responsibility. But I was lonely. You were always so busy, so distant sometimes. Her words cut me in a different way. Loneliness? Was that her justification? Lonely? I spat, my voice colder than I intended. So your solution was this? It's funny how she made a choice and now sound like it was some accident. I had spent the last few days piecing everything together, and what I had discovered was heartbreaking. The affair hadn't just started, it had been going on for months. Months. She had carefully deleted messages to hide her tracks, erasing the evidence of her betrayal as if that could make it disappear. But she'd missed a few, and those were enough to expose everything. She knew exactly what she was doing. Cheating is never a mistake. It wasn't some moment of weakness. It was planned and she agreed to it. After days of wrestling with my thoughts, I made the hardest decision of my life. Some betrayals are too deep to forgive, no matter how much you want to. Trust is the foundation of any marriage, and once it's shattered, there's no going back. So, I decided to walk away. Filing for divorce felt like admitting to myself that the life I had built was over. It was painful to sign those papers, to see everything we had built reduced to a legal document. But deep down, I knew it was the only way forward. Staying would mean living in constant doubt, always wondering if I could ever trust her again. Rebuilding my life was like learning to walk all over again. I had to start from scratch, piece by piece. I moved to a smaller apartment, simple but quiet. I threw myself into my work, not to forget but to find some sense of purpose. The silence at night was deafening, but it gave me time to reflect. I started therapy, not just to heal but to understand how I let myself stay blind for so long. Letting go was never easy. There were days I felt like calling her, asking if she regretted it, if she missed what we had. But I stopped myself. I reminded myself that healing meant looking forward, not back.